Hello, I'm Jefrf Fuller. I'm primarily wearing my America First hat, America First Caucus hat, but I'm also the data chair and election integrity chair of Prince William County. I include this picture of myself and my granddaughter because it basically summarizes why I fight, and I believe why many of you fight for your kids, your grandkids, your nieces and nephews, and basically this current generation that's coming up. I just want to highlight these points. The first four are not normally part of campaigns and units to the extent that I think it should be. The first step requires analysis of what happened in 2024 and understanding the demographics of the geographic area and what issues are going to animate voters to get out in an off-year election. We have data to support recruiting volunteers and members for units and candidates. We will support primary candidates with data if they make the cut. We will. I recommend that the data that we have will support curating and activating new voters, and especially people concerned about it, education choice and parents' rights. And the rest of these are normal functions that every unit and candidate attempts to pull off. And it's important that obviously you have data to support that and means of communicating with voters. Why? The money is going to be coming in big time. The Democrat cabal wants to turn Virginia back to the blue state it was just 4 years ago. And so does MSM, the mainstream media, social media, and so forth. So we got to do this. So we'll provide free data and whatever advice we can to candidates and to any GOP units that would like it. This shows where Trump was able to increase his performance faster than the population grew by county. So in the ones in orange, the county lost population, but his vote increased. In the ones in red, they gained population, but he gained more than that gain. So that's a pretty impressive performance. I think everybody that is thinking about data and data support ought to immediately try to hire or recruit a volunteer data guru who can at least use Excel and preferably up to and include pivot tables. You can get data from us. There's a form I include a link to there that you sign up for data from America First. You can get data from Elect. That isn't by voter, but it's by election. VPAP data is a very good source, and you can get information on fundraising. And if you want RPV data, ask your unit chair for access from the GOP data center. This is not as easy and straightforward as one would wish, but it is possible. So we advocate analyzing the data from multiple sources and figuring out how to do those steps there. And that's my contact information if you want data. This slide illustrates the number of registered voters in the United States. I found this interesting. I showed 2024, and note that before every presidential election, there's a bump up in registration, except from 2022 to 2024. I credit the many conservative election integrity units across the United States and in the last couple of years, the GOP's attention to election integrity with this, cleaning the rolls. In Prince William County, we have a data team that in just the last year recommended 2,000 voters be removed from the voter rolls because they moved outside the state and were voting in other states. And they were successful in that. So this shows the same information, but focused on Northern Virginia. I just highlight a few of the counties. As you can see, Prince William County moved the ball significantly. This is some analysis I did that basically makes the case that Virginia in 2025 should be considered a de facto swing state. Why? Because the um, Democrats are going to be going all out to flip a Republican held governorship to a Democrat CIA plant. And that will basically, everyone will declare in the cabal that Trump is now a lame duck in his first year. We can't have that. This is an example of a data sheet we use for recruiting volunteers. Basically, we rank the voters from highest to lowest in terms of their prospect as a volunteer. We base that on their voting record and the degree of Republicanness as demonstrated by the assessment of calculated party by RPB and L2, and also the things like their participation in the presidential primary in 2024. So we recommend you knock the doors, send the texts and postcards, call, and ask these people to join the cause. Maybe just sign up for the GOP newsletter. If you can't get anything else, at least get that much. The data that we have in America First Caucus includes ethnicity, religion, and a number of other interesting demographic factors that you can use to rack and stack and sort to focus your message on specific voters and get the best return on investment of your outreach efforts. So back to the strategic house picture. First place, we believe that we have to get a candidate running in every race. And just because we didn't get somebody to participate in the primary doesn't mean that the game's over. Republican units can still decide and basically select folks to run in the districts we don't have a primary right now in. It's very important because every door that they knock and every voter they convince to turn out is one that will be able to participate in the statewide race. And then you'll have a direct influence if you pull it off and we win the House on election law, education choice, DIE, taxes, our liberties, and our security. I'm turning now just to an example of what's happening in Prince William. These are the House districts that are in Prince William County. I highlight the two that are competitive. In other words, they're within a point or two. If you add, and here I just did an analysis of adding half the swing voters to the Republican voters to see how it turned out. But VPAP agrees with this as well, using a different methodology. Point is, this is a competitive race that can be won with the right turnout, with the right message, and with a motivated and effective candidate. Now, this is data, I think this is from Virginia's elect database, and this shows the results in House District 21 back in 1923. As you can see, the race was lost to the Democrat by 975 votes, which is 3.6%. That means that if everything was equal, and of course it won't be, but if you had 488 votes, you'd win this if you had a do-over, and that means 58 votes per precinct average. That is not an impossible task if everybody is pulling on the oars. So this is a few things about how to leverage voter data. First is you can get it free from the GOP. The GOP data has advantages over L2 data in that they have more phone numbers, but they do not have very good demographic data. So a hybrid of those two databases is an excellent thing to do if you have somebody that's capable of doing that. We are working on that for both Prince William, and we've accomplished it for Fairfax. So there's light at the end of the tunnel. You can also, if you get L2 data, you can also update it, enhance it with by paying L2 for phone numbers and emails. Another option. But you got to analyze the data, and you basically use the data to support your outreach to parents, low propensity voters, Trump voters, everybody that voted in the primary in 2024 for the president, less the Dems that crossed over, vets, hunters, gun owners, and donor data. And to include whether they were conservative donors or conservative causes and how much and how often and so forth. Very important if you're interested in fundraising. Now I put these up as a thought piece to, my a priori analysis. The voter volunteer data is available from both GOP data and America First caucus data. The most important issue in my mind is the parents' rights issue, the business of activating parents' rights with regard to education choice and countering the trans/woke ideology that's being pushed by the school districts and the teachers unions, and then low propensity voters. These are the voters who are conservative Republican voters, but they don't vote in off-year elections. We know who they are, so you can contact them and say this is not the election to sit out. Gen Z males. We have the age and sex of voters, so you can create a subset of voters to encourage Gen Z, these young guys, especially the young men, to get out and make a difference. And then I list some others. So you can contact. We have a number of tools. I highlight Ballot Banker because it's one we're using right now in 2 races in House District races in Northern Virginia, and I expect a couple more to join. We have limited airspeed and altitude with this one, but we will be, and we will probably use it for a couple strategic races statewide. But with this, you can text, you can call, you can send postcards, and then you should also probably consider social media, geofencing, and other more modern exploitation of technology. And then we are going to be recruiting strategic volunteers to help us go across the state and make a difference in these races where we can. Just think of the way Scott Presler operates. So you can use Ballot Banker. This is a picture of Campaign Sidekick. So you have different options for contacting voters, but you're not contacting anybody if you don't have any data. I say this to every time I get more than 2 Republicans to listen to me, and that is that volunteers have to be encouraged and taught to ask for the sale. This is a picture of our friend and mentor, Scott Presler, doing exactly that in Pennsylvania. He's listening, but he's not going to leave that conversation without asking that voter to register and to vote and to do whatever else Scott's got on his mind. And I encourage you to do this anywhere you run into a voter, whether it's supporting them during early voting at the polls, gun shows, churches, farmers markets, on the front porch, door knocking, and then ask those questions. But they won't, nobody's going to vote for the candidate that doesn't ask for a vote. And the same thing with the volunteer. Some parting thoughts that I hope you'll find useful. I believe that the national, state, and local GOP and candidates must leverage the unpopular 80-20 positions that the Dems have decided to die on. The teachers union and woke Dems over parents' rights, illegal criminal aliens and over public safety, waste, fraud, and abuse, and woke programs over the Dodge GOP audit and common sense cost cutting. So, and then with all of this in mind, there's an outside chance that 2025 could be a wave election where candidates were basically Democrats, weak Democrats, and swing voters say enough of this nonsense. We're gonna go for something that is clearly common sense and works instead of the woke mantra. And especially, let me point out, we've got to talk to every Trump voter that voted for Trump, especially in the primary, and make sure they understand this is a big deal this year in Virginia. Please come out and help us. I include here a QR code that goes to a sign up form if you want to sign up as a volunteer for the America First Caucus. We will turn these volunteers and encourage them to participate with units and candidates in their districts. And where we can, we may be pulling them in as our strategic outfit. So that's it. Uh, I will, if you're watching this on a YouTube video, I will include a link to these slides. If you'd like to download them, you'll be able to see them at your leisure and take advantage of whatever they offer. That's it. Thank you. And go in liberty. Let's win in 2025.